If you own one of these beautiful Shure MV7 desktop microphones and don't want to upgrade to the Shure SMB, this video is for you. See, I've recently decided to grab a couple of accessories and make a few incremental changes, and I'm going to help you decide what you can do yourself to elevate your vocal presence and how you come across in your online video content. Hey, if we haven't met, my name is Daniel Mumba Odoy, and I'm obsessed with incremental gains, helping creators like you elevate their authority, their overall personal brand, and build a premium high services business. I remember when the world was in lockdown, I decided to purchase my first desktop microphone, which was the Rode NT USB Mini. And I remember the first time I used it on a call with a client, how they immediately remarked that my voice presence was elevated. This was quickly followed up by many other clients that shared the same thing. And I realized that the quality of your audio can make a massive difference on your perceived status or your perceived reputation. So since then, I decided to upgrade to the Shure MV7 because the SMB was a little bit outside my price point, and I also didn't want to have to get a PhD in music EQing. So in this video, I'm going to share and show you 3 of the changes I'm making to this microphone to help you go from being a beginner to a professional. First of all is enhancing the pop shield. Now, if you don't know, the pop shield is this furry little cover that goes on top of the microphone. You may have never seen what a naked microphone looks like, but that's basically it. So the intention of this is to minimize plosives, which those are those explosive sounds on the P's and T's of words that can sometimes cut or cap at the top of something. So if you hear the K, it sounds quite abrasive on the ear, or Peter Piper picked a pup of powerful peppers. I don't know the whole sentence, but you get the point. It can sound quite invasive on your ears. But if you pop that back on, then ideally it should minimize it if I say Peter Piper picked a powerful bag of bloody peppers. I'm not really getting this one, but you get my point. So that should remove it or take a little bit more heat off it. However, for a very affordable upgrade, you can buy a replacement pop shield, which not only emulates the look of what the Shure SMB actually has, from what I've heard, a lot more effective at minimizing plosive. Okay, so this is the test with the standard pop shield that comes in the box. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked. Okay, that's number 1. I'm going to pull this one off. The settings being exactly the same. I haven't changed anything in the audio. Let's do it again. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers, Peter Piper picked. All right, see what the difference sounded like for yourself? You tell me. And if you're interested in making the upgrade yourself, so it looks for anywhere between $50 to $60. You can already see it kind of emulates the longer look. I've had a lot of people think that I have an SMB, when in fact I just have the MV7. It already has a bit more of that podcaster look, if that's what you're looking for. But see for yourself. If you feel that made a difference with the plosives, highly recommend going to check it out and grabbing it for yourself. Great, so now that we've accounted for plosives and you're not going to be abusing the ears of your listeners, we're going to dive into Shure's digital version of what would otherwise be a physical audio interface. Condenser microphones like the Shure SMB usually need an additional accessory called a preamp, because within the microphone, it doesn't have something that actually pulls the volume up, and it often comes across quite quiet. And what they basically do is they boost or add gain to the actual microphone itself. Now, you can also tinker with other settings of equalization with the compression, the limiting, and tinkering with the frequency so it sounds right. But as I said, I don't want to study a PhD in sound engineering, so I wanted a simple solution. Unfortunately, Shure has that, which at the time of this recording, I'm using the ShurePlus MOTIV app. Now, I did see a notification lurking around somewhere on my computer, or maybe in a Reddit forum, that they may discontinue use of this. So if there are any changes, I'm just going to include it in the comments to keep you up to date, or feel free to comment with the latest if you know it. Now, what this desktop app basically does is it takes everything that you would normally control with a physical audio interface that you could tinker and allows you to do it on your desktop, which is easy. I love it because it's less gear that I have to carry, and it's really, really simple to understand what's happening. So as you can see on my screen right now, this is what it looks like as a layout. I like taking manual control rather than leaving it up to a default auto level setting, but you can go with the auto level if you just want a quick, ready to go solution. So I'm just going to play with some of the settings right now. As you can see, this is dark, so it's going to be a bit richer with my voice. This is natural, and this is bright, which I believe cuts out my lows and gives me a bit of a brighter kind of voice. Now, it's got 2 settings as well, depending on the positioning of your microphone. Obviously, it's best to try to get as close as you can to the microphone for the best sound, and so it can capture as much information. But I go into the manual mode, and I tinker with all these settings down over here. So mic gain, from doing a couple of tests, I found that sitting around the 26 to 27 decibel level is great for me. I don't need to change the monitor mix. The EQ, I just give it a presence boost. I don't want to cut my lows because I like that in my voice. Limiter basically stops the sound from going too hard or capping too high if I'm speaking really loud. So right now I'm going to keep speaking really loud. I'm going to turn on the limiter right now to see how that makes a difference. Did you notice the difference? Compressor is basically making sure that any soft noises get pushed up and any overly loud noises get pulled in. So it kind of balances and creates this like really nice audible range for your sound to be consistently conveyed in. And I'll leave these settings as they are. You can also save these settings as a preset, which I do. So every time you turn on the computer, you can simply have that preset set in, give it a second. So I have it saved. I'm going to go lock on the lock icon. So it'll automatically lock into this mode every time. When you turn it on, it basically has like a muscle memory where it'll divert to the presets that you had. So once locked in, set for forever. Now play around with different recordings, see which one sounds best, and when you have a preset that works well for you, lock it in. So we haven't had to hire a sound engineer, and we've dialed in the EQ quality of what your voice actually sounds like. We've got one final step to try and expand exactly just how much information we can get from it. Now this third option does involve a bit more of an investment. It's completely optional and up to you, but again, I wanted to lay out all the options of what I'm doing myself. This right here, friends, is called a digital audio interface. It's the MV2XU from Shure, and it basically acts as potentially the most portable XLR audio interface I've ever seen. What's cool about this, if you're watching this video and you don't have a Shure yourself, is this works on any XLR microphone. And it basically takes what would be an XLR output using this plugin that you can stick right into the back of your own XLR microphone, and it has a USB-C output and a headphone monitoring. Now, it also comes with a USB-C cable, so there are multiple ways of actually configuring it. Some people could plug this straight into the back of the Shure and then run that USB-C cable straight into your computer. However, I don't like that it's going to be creating this like long and chunky look. So what I've done is I've also just bought a standard XLR cable just from Amazon. These will set you back about $10 to $20. This is the one that I'm using, and I'm going to be plugging into the back of it. I'm going to run the cable down through my microphone arm, and you may be interested in about how much this cost. Well, from Amazon at the moment, I can see that it comes to about $239. That's in Australian dollars, so convert to your currency. And it's really basically ready to go. You can plug it in directly off the back of an XLR, or you can simply run XLR cable and, as it's shown over there, plug it into your computer that way. So it's really a matter of what your preference is. This is obviously being shown with the SMB, but in this case, for this video, I'm going to show what happens when it gets added to my Shure MV7. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. It's like a portable audio interface, but you don't need to be very skilled in dialing things. If you can operate the desktop app that I showed you in the previous step, then you'll be able to make this work. From this point onwards, I'm going to change over to the XLR so you can make a decision for yourself if you notice the sound or the changes. I'm also going to keep my settings as locked in as I can from what I've previously had, but I do believe that once I stick the XLR cable in, the Shure desktop app might potentially change what's available. So I'll do my best for a like-to-like comparison. Then I'm going to plug it into the digital interface from Shure, and then I'm going to run that USB cable into my MacBook, and we'll go from there. Cut back when the XLR is connected, and I'll see you in 3, 2, 1. All right, awesome. We have now put in the XLR cable. I can already see from the levels in GarageBand that it seems to be quite a very quiet signal. So I'm just going to bump up the gain. I may not be able to get a like-by-like comparison, and I can now see the sound waves have actually increased a little bit. So I might have to pull it down and experiment. I'm going to put it at 47. It may not be the perfect comparison. And there's also been this new equalizer that has just popped up. Now, I'm definitely not versed in this, and I might need to spend some time in truly understanding it, as some of the settings, like I mentioned, did change. I've kept the limiter on, I've kept a medium compressor, the gain is at 47, and I turned the phantom power off as is recommended to avoid causing any damage to your microphone, because it's a dynamic microphone. It doesn't need phantom power, but an SMB would. I'm going to do 2 comparisons side by side of me simply doing comparative audio. One when I've simply got the micro USB connecting to the USB, and another when I've got the XLR cable with the Shure MV2XU, and you can decide if you think it makes a world of difference. So we haven't had to hire a sound engineer, and we've dialed in the EQ quality of what your voice actually sounds like, and you can decide if you think it makes a world of difference. If not, most people probably could notice it. Definitely not necessary, but I thought I'd give you all the options out there so you can make the best decision. So there you have it, my friends. 3 really simple, accessible, and affordable upgrades to your Shure MV7. Implementing any of these is going to get you a step closer towards getting that professional grade premium audio quality, creating a really strong impression on your listeners, viewers, or clients. Now, it goes without saying that a picture is like 1,000 words. So to make sure that you've got a professional headshot that you can shoot all by yourself, I've created this simple video tutorial, so I'll see you there.